Welcome to What is LinkedIn? This is the first video in the LinkedIn Learning series, and we'd like to cover three topics. We'd like to introduce you to LinkedIn, we'd like to tour a typical LinkedIn page, and then we'd like to do just a brief flyover of the other videos that are in the LinkedIn Learning series. As you can tell by the graph on the right, the growth of the LinkedIn community is really exponential. So let's get started. What are people using LinkedIn for? Well, to exchange knowledge and ideas, to exchange opportunities. They also use it for counsel and for advice. But LinkedIn has always been a good job search platform. So if you're looking for a job or you're looking for the right person to fill that job, LinkedIn could be a great resource. 58% of the LinkedIn users come from companies of 10,000 or more. The LinkedIn audience is made up of 53% men and 47% women, and the most prominent age group is 35 to 54. If we go on to the next slide, let's talk about why companies are using LinkedIn. How are they leveraging this resource? Well, here you can see 4 reasons, and there's another 5 reasons in the tutorial handout, so make sure you print that out. But it certainly tells the story. Other ideas are to drive word of mouth, to generate leads, to build your brand. So make sure you investigate LinkedIn and then decide whether or not it's really right for your business. So how about touring LinkedIn? The LinkedIn page is laid out with menu selections along the top and then a stream of information down the middle. Some follower stats, ads, and company info are found along the right-hand side. So let's take a few minutes and break this page down just a little bit farther. If we kind of zoom in here, we can see an overview section. And this overview section is just a great place for you to just tell the company's story. What's the company all about? What does the company do? Make sure that you keep it interesting and visitor focused. And make sure that it's always kept up to date. So if we go on to our next slide here, we can see that there's a careers section on LinkedIn. So if you're advertising for open positions, make sure that this information section is always up to date. You know, don't leave jobs there for 3 or 4 months that have already been filled. That certainly frustrates the job hunter. Now let's look at the next slide. This slide is titled Products and Services. This is where we can tell people what it is we do or what it is we sell. We have a description here where we can talk about the pain, the remedy, and the benefits. And we can also insert some pictures. So if we go on to the next section, these are really called follower stats. And we can tell who's coming to the LinkedIn page and what they're looking for. So we get an idea of the total number of followers, updates in the last 7 days, update impressions in the last 7 days, and things like update engagement in the last 7 days. So the follower stats really provide the company with the analytics on their followers and on the company updates as well, just to make sure that things are staying fresh. Well, if we go on to the next slide, this one looks pretty empty, and that's because this company page was created for this tutorial, and there really haven't been any visitors yet. But as they come, we'll make sure that we update this slide. But we get a good snapshot of what's taking place. Is anybody visiting? Where are they going? What's of interest to them? So let's go ahead and turn our page again, and let's get some insights. Insights will give us a better understanding of those that follow the company and those that are employed at the company. You can see down below that the people that are visiting our site are also looking at Google, Microsoft, Facebook, IBM, and HP. And so that gives you a good idea that the audience is pretty technically savvy that come to this page. So if we go ahead and turn the slide to the next one, we can see that there are a lot of ways to really search companies. We get a search box with several options. You know, we can go ahead and find information on people, on groups, on companies, And so this is really a pretty nice search utility. Let's go on to the next slide. And as you can see here, there are some premium upgrade options for LinkedIn. So take a minute or two after you create your account and look at these options to see whether or not they make sense for your company. Now it's time to recap. What we've gone through so far is just to introduce you to LinkedIn and then to tour a typical LinkedIn company page. So this ends the first video in the LinkedIn Learning series. There are 3 other videos. The second video is called Getting Started with LinkedIn, where we'll talk about building and managing your company page. The third video is titled Attracting an Audience, where you'll learn how to establish the right voice, start conversations, and reach your audience. There's also a section on gaining connections and recommendations, as well as a discussion on joining groups and when that should happen. The last video is called The Business Side, where we want to talk about analytics, referral links, and a starting point. Let's say that you've watched the videos and you've decided, I think LinkedIn is for our company. So how do we get started? And that's really what that topic is about. So this ends the video, and as I said before, next video we'll talk about building your company page and managing that page. And thanks for listening.